Okay. Bear with me here, sorry. Okay, and it looks like we've gotten everybody. If I have not, just please use the hand raise function. We are recording as well. And without any further delay, I'd like to get to Congressman Cartwright. Congressman, you have the floor. Okay.
Well, thanks, Matt, and thank you all for joining us today. Particular thanks to my friend, Congressman Glenn Thompson, my great friend, Bobby Hughes, Jason Walsh, and all the dedicated advocates and supporters here with us on Zoom and also watching on Facebook Live. We're here today because Appalachian states like Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Kentucky, we're on a deadline. We have 204 days now to renew the Abandoned Mineland Trust Fund before it expires. That's 204 days to make sure we can continue critical work in our states to clean up the pollution and hazards caused by abandoned coal mines and turn them into opportunities for economic development and job creation at a time when our economy really needs a shot in the arm. Now, since its creation in 1977, this federal funding program has done a lot of good. Here in northeastern Pennsylvania, think of the Arena Hub Plaza, the distribution centers in Hazleton, and the site of the new high school in Wilkes-Barre. These are all former abandoned mineland sites that are now or are soon to be places that will drive growth and economic activity. Across the United States over the past 30 plus years, this program has eliminated over 46,000 open mine portals, reclaimed over 1,000 miles of dangerous high walls, restored water supplies to countless residents of coalfield communities, and created jobs and opportunities for economic development on land that was previously unusable. We have our success stories, but our work is far from over. In the 8th Congressional District of northeastern Pennsylvania alone, we have over 300 abandoned mineland sites that still need to be reclaimed. Now, Bobby Hughes, who has been on the front line of this work in northeastern Pennsylvania for years, can tell you more about that. But in total, the remaining reclamation work here in the Appalachian region and out west is estimated to cost over $10 billion. If we allow this AML Trust Fund to expire at the end of this fiscal year, this urgent work will never be finished, and American taxpayers will be left to pick up the pieces and pay the price. That's why today I am reintroducing bills to reauthorize this fund for another 15 years and accelerate its investments to reclaim abandoned mines across the United States. This will help not only to restore blighted lands and clean up waterways poisoned by acid mine drainage, but it will also fuel the creation of good paying jobs and pave the way for new economic opportunities. And joining me in this effort in Congress is Congressman Glenn Thompson, representing Pennsylvania's 15th Congressional District, and as the lead Republican sponsor of the Abandoned Mineland Reauthorization Act and a co-lead of the Reclaim Act, he has been an indispensable partner in this effort with me. I'd also like to recognize Representative Hal Rogers of Kentucky, the lead Republican sponsor of the Reclaim Act. These are bills supported by both Republican and Democratic members because we all agree that protecting our clean water and creating jobs is the right thing to do for the people that we represent in Appalachia. And with the help of excellent advocates like Bobby Hughes, Jason Walsh, and everybody else who has offered their support as we prepare to renew the effort in this critical year, I am confident we can get this across the finish line. Now I'd like to turn it over to GT, Congressman Glenn Thompson, to say a few words.
You think after a year of virtual presentations, we'd have this technology down and be able to unmute kind of timely manner. Matt, thank you so much. You had it right there when you said GT as well. I appreciate the opportunity to continue to work with you on this. You know, in a time that we see maybe some divisiveness in Washington over the years. This is not a Republican issue. This is not a Democrat issue. This is an American issue. And I'll go into that just a little bit in my remarks. This is something I've always been very passionate about. Certainly important to my congressional district and has been for the 13 years I've been serving. So that's why I've been proud to be a part of this effort. I wish we were able to accomplish this before we're coming down to the wire here, as Congressman Cartwright talked about, but we need to get this done. Let me put that right up front. Our goal, and failure is not an option here, is to get this abandoned mineland trust fund reauthorized before the expiration date. My congressional district has the most abandoned mineland sites in the country. And quite frankly, at one point, I'm not sure where it is today, it was considered to have more than the other 434 congressional districts added together. And that's a lot of scars. That's a lot of scars on land, a lot of scars in water. It's missing. Well, first of all, it creates hardships on families, businesses, but it creates economic challenges and difficulties in lands that otherwise are wonderful, and quite frankly, lands that were prosperous, certainly at one time economically. And so I think that's the importance of it. I think it is important to note, because we're not here to, we're here to heal. We're here to heal both water and land. This is not finger pointing, quite frankly. In most cases, it was the government that because of what this coal was used for in terms of providing us the arsenal of democracy to win 2 world wars, it was the government that directed not to close up these mine sites because they didn't know how long these wars would go on. They didn't know if there'd be a World War III. And so the prudent thing was to make sure that we would continue to have access to just a vital resource that coal is today, and quite frankly, and what coal was during those times. It is quite a legacy. We have the legacy of providing the coal to fuel the Industrial Revolution, to really bring us into a modern era. It changed this nation. As we know, the Industrial Revolution did that, and the use of coal was a big factor in that. And I think it changed it for the good, actually, raising the level of income and opportunity, and allowing us then to defend ourselves, manufacturing that arsenal of democracy. And I don't think that's anything that we should ever apologize for. I'm very proud of the role that the area that I served, the people that served there. My grandfather was a strip miner. I guess today his title would be surface miner. And we're proud of that. And we also should be proud of the progress that we've made, as Congressman Cartwright noted, the healing that has occurred, of healing of land, the healing of waters. We've made tremendous progress in areas. We've seen life return to streams, and those streams begin to prosper with species of fish, including our #1 fish for tourism, which is trout in Pennsylvania. The restoration of economic opportunity. We have seen communities that have, for the first time in many generations, been able to drink the water that comes into their home through these remediation projects. It's very exciting. So with the progress, but need remains. Many scars are still there. Progress needs to continue. And the beauty of what we do here with this funding through the Abandoned Mineland Trust Fund, it gets leveraged. It gets leveraged with nonprofits, non-government organizations, with the commercial, the private sector. And so for every dollar that we invest, that stretches and multiplies significantly. The support and the work of our watershed associations, Trout Unlimited, I'm probably going to leave someone out, but there are great groups out there that step to the table here. And so there's much needs to be done. So the action that we need here, and the reason we appreciate you all joining us virtually for this press conference is just to reinforce our commitment to see the reauthorization of the Abandoned Mineland Trust Fund. These are dollars that don't come from the taxpayer coffers. These are dollars that have been contributed since 1977. A specific fee based on based on every ton of coal that's been mined since 1977. Yeah, and we're going to probably get into some disagreements in this with maybe some Western states, but I want to remind my friends from the Western states, the sites that we still need to aggressively work at cleaning up, the coal that was mined from them benefited those states. The Industrial Revolution benefited every state in the United States of America, whether through economic development, whether it was making sure that we defended ourselves successfully, winning 2 world wars. And so I want to encourage my friends in the western part of the country, and I respect what they do for energy there as well, and their coal legacy, that our coal, these abandoned mine sites, were good for every American family. So my appreciation to Congressman Cartwright. Really pleased to join him as we address this issue that, quite frankly, is so important to our congressional districts, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and quite frankly, America as a whole.
I'd like to turn to Bobby Hughes now. Thank you very much, Congressman.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the call here this morning, and appreciate the work and in a bipartisan fashion that's been put forward by Congressman Cartwright and Congressman Thompson and others across the country to really address this issue. You know, what we're seeing is this as another opportunity. We have another chance here for a 15-year window to really look at some sites, but leverage them in a way, like the Congressman said, that we can bring in other dollars and look at these sites in a new way, where we don't just look at the land in a way that maybe in the 70s you might have just reforested that landscape and put it into rolling hillsides. But today, with the need for economic development and job opportunities, there is a better and higher use of those lands. And we have to work with these private property owners, sometimes coal operators, sometimes economic developers, to kind of what will that use be, and how does it fit in the community, and what can we do with it. And so we've been getting lots of calls from developers recently that are in the solar market, in renewable energy, and geothermal energy to reuse mine pool water, and the mine drainage that we have to recover the metals for resource recovery and rare earth elements. So there is a lot of opportunities, I think, coming down the pike here that we can take advantage of over the next 15 years to bring some new jobs to our region and across the country that are in the type of jobs that, as we're transitioning or as coal is declining in some areas, and we're going to be looking for job opportunities. And here in northeastern Pennsylvania, for the most part, that has happened. And so we've already transitioned, and we're looking at these new economies in the region. And for people that are running heavy machinery or dump truck operators or excavators or bulldozers, or when we put up a sort of a warehouse distribution center as a major East Coast distribution area, they bring a lot of other jobs, and they bring what we need to the region in an economy that's kind of coming out of this area to grow and a need to grow. So we support the Abandoned Mineland Reclamation Trust Fund being reauthorized. We have got lots of partners across the country, and especially in Appalachia, that are working hard to see that this is addressed so that we're not left behind and we can have progress and move forward. And so we want to see that happen. And the Reclaim Act kind of gives us a boost here over the next few years to do that development and leveraging of private dollars. So when we work with other companies that could come in to reclaim these lands, and we're able to have some additional grant funding that nonprofits like ourselves can put on the table, with a private developer, that could make a difference in having companies come and locate in the region and be able to utilize those lands in a way that's going to put them back on the tax rolls, that's going to create local job opportunities and trickle out throughout the market locally in our regional areas to help spur the economy. So we want to see that happen, and we're very supportive of the efforts going forward, and hope to see this pass, because we do have a lot of work left. The job's not done, we say, and we really want to see these sites be taken full advantage of and become the areas where we can create these new jobs and create opportunities for the folks in our region.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate that. Now I'd like to turn to Jason Walsh, Executive Director of the Blue Green Alliance.
Good morning. Thank you, first of all, to Congressman Cartwright and Congressman Thompson for their leadership and for having me on. I'm Jason Walsh, the Executive Director of the Blue Green Alliance. We are a coalition of labor unions and environmental organizations united to solve today's environmental challenges in ways that create and maintain quality jobs and build a clean, thriving, and equitable economy. For generations, many communities across our nation have built their economies around coal, not only for the employment of their citizens, but for the revenue that supports their schools, infrastructure, and small businesses. But as market demand continues to shift away from coal to cheaper and cleaner forms of energy, we need to make sure that no worker or community in coal country is left behind. These communities and workers are rightfully proud of their service powering our nation for generations. We as a nation, in turn, have an obligation to them. There's no such thing as the silver bullet, but the bills being introduced today, the Reclaim Act and the reauthorization of the AML fee, do represent silver buckshot. These bills will invest in the economic development and diversification of previously coal-reliant regions, create good jobs, and make our lands and waters cleaner. These are the kind of targeted policy responses that help minimize the pain for workers and communities that have been on the hurting end of changes in our energy economy, and that create new opportunities for more resilient economic growth. In the case of the Reclaim Act, it links reclamation projects to community-driven economic development efforts to ensure that projects actually meet the needs of those communities. Prioritizing public input and community participation is key in determining which projects are chosen and how they're implemented. With community buy-in, these sites can help diversify the economies of communities and create new sources of wealth and jobs for the long term. We have real-world examples of the types of projects that would be supported by the Reclaim Act and AML reauthorization. In Maryland, the reclamation of an abandoned coal mine that had been leaking pollution into the North Branch of the Potomac River for decades paved the way for 13 commercial angling and whitewater boating outfitters to operate on the river, resulting in an estimated economic impact of nearly $3 million in the area. In Glen Rock, West Virginia, a surface coal mine was converted into a 158 turbine wind farm that produces enough electricity to power over 66,000 homes. And in Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, a business park was constructed on a reclaimed mine land, which is home to 39 companies that employ over 4,500 people. A just transition isn't something that will happen organically. We have to choose to invest in the economic diversification of communities and to modernize and strengthen the industries and regions at the heart of the American economy. And we have to choose to make the jobs in the clean economy good paying union jobs and ensure they're created where jobs are being lost. The Reclaim Act and the reauthorization of the AML, a reclamation fee, make that choice. They are a win for communities, a win for workers, and a win for the environment. BGA is proud to support both bills. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. At this time, I'd like to open it up to a few questions. I think we do have a few minutes. And so our members of the press can either unmute themselves or use the hand raise feature, and I can call on you. I'd like to open that up now.
Hello, can you hear me? This is James Marshall from E&E News.
Yep.
Well, thank you for holding this event. I have a question about the price tag on these AML sites. I've been told that $10 billion might underestimate the amount of work left to do. I'm wondering if you all have considered other options for paying for reclaiming these sites, especially since the coal industry isn't doing so well, and I'm not sure how long or how much money will be generated with reauthorization.
Well, sure. I mean, how much is all of this work going to cost eventually? 10 billion might not be enough. The only way we're going to find out is through experience. I can't give you a solid answer to that question other than to say that I expect the coal industry to continue to contribute to the AML Trust Fund. If it isn't enough in the end, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board. It's as simple as that.
Thank you. I just one quick follow-up as well. Are you all supportive of Congressman LaHood's community reclamation bill that would, I guess, remove a Clean Water Act barrier to have NGOs reclaim acid mine drainage sites?
I'm sorry, there was a noise. I didn't hear your whole question. Could you repeat it?
Yes. Congressman LaHood from Illinois has a bill called Community Reclaimers, I think, that would allow NGOs to reclaim acid mine drainage sites, and it would remove, I guess, liabilities under the Clean Water Act. And that bill, he has said, I guess, might reduce the funding gap, like I mentioned earlier. Is this a bill that you all would support as well?
I'd have to look at it and get back to you on that. Congressman Thompson may have a comment on that.
Yeah, Matt. I'm looking forward to taking a look at this bill. I'm certainly supportive of anything that extends Good Samaritan protections for folks who are willing to, demonstrate the goodwill, to come to the table and be a partner. And, based on what you described, I'm going to have to go back and I'll talk with Darren about Mr. LaHood about the bill that he has introduced. But based on the brief description that you provided, if it essentially, if the key point is extending that Good Samaritan protections for folks to be able to, to step in without government assigning just total liability of the area, and quite frankly, future fines, depending on how the progress is going, punitive type consequences. We should be incentivizing that type of engagement, not punishing it. So I appreciate you bringing it up. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the specific language.
Well, thank you very much. And I do have more questions. I guess I don't want to not give others a chance, but I'm wondering about how fast these bills might move through the House, and if there's also an impetus in the Senate.
I think there will be interest in the Senate. We work with, obviously, West Virginia is a part of this, and we have worked with Senator Manchin on similar things in the past. I see no reason that he will not be included in an active participant in these bills going forward.
Thanks again. I appreciate it.
So do we have any other questions for our members of the press? Seeing none, Congressman Cartwright, I think we can now conclude with our program if you'd like to leave us with any final words.
Sure. Congressman Thompson and I just got informed that they're closing out a vote in minutes. So we're going to head over and vote. Thank you all for joining us. We'll keep you posted on the progress of both of these bills. Absolutely critical that we get them over the goal line this year. Thanks so much, everybody.
Absolutely agree, Matt. Thank you for your partnership on this, and thank you for all those who are watching and raising awareness of it through your media sources. That it's really important. This is a team effort, and quite frankly, raising awareness among all the citizens is an important part of this. So thank you so much.
So long, everybody.